Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All right, welcome to the Midwest Youth Main Event here on Boldstream TV, live from Cadillac Lanes in Waterloo, Iowa. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Apologies for the, I guess technically what was kind of a late start, but practice did start on time at 9:15. Shout out to Matthew McConaughey, Brandon Steen, Angie, and everyone involved here with this event, inaugural running of this event. We had some network troubles to start. But it looks like we have figured some things out that will allow us to obviously get our the short pattern stream off and running. This is game one. Of course, while ripping and running, something else went wrong. But nonetheless, guys, let me know if you can hear me. That's first and foremost. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm going to go work on getting our scoreboards back on 19, 20, 21, and 22, which is the lanes we are currently covering. We will also have 17 and 18 as well. I will have scores for you here in just a second. 19, 20, 21, and 22. Again, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Our additional camera is currently on 17 and 18. And we'll bring you live coverage periodically from that pair of lanes as well. We'll get into the details of the short lane pattern here in just 1 second. It's not very friendly, 33 feet. And again, I'll tell you all of the specific details here in 1 second. I appreciate those of you already tuning in. Please go ahead and share on Facebook because I think we've got everything figured out to this point. Big shout out to Chelsea, proprietor and GM here, Mick, who has helped me, figure out the troubles here early on. I'll tell you, in this line of work, there's nothing like a good staff of a bowling center, proprietors, GMs, and certainly the YBSF here, putting on this great event. Last time I talked to Brandon Steen, I think the number was about 80 entries. We'll get to those of you in the chat. I'm sure you may have some questions. I'm just trying to get you some scoreboards back up and running here. It's funny how, you know, when you're trying to do one thing or accomplish one thing, something else kind of goes awry in the process. That's part of the business. The long pattern will be this afternoon, which will take place at 2 p.m. Again, right here at Cadillac Lanes. Tony and Denise and SNU Bowling. My man Brad Starkey is in the building. So just to reiterate, this is day one of two of the inaugural Midwest Youth Main Event. We are live from Cadillac Lanes in Waterloo, Iowa. My name is Emil Williams Jr., courtesy of Bowlstream TV. And big thanks to my man Brandon Steen, Coach Steen, Matthew, Angie, and everyone who's played a role in the creation of this great event to allow me to be here and bring you the live coverage of the event. All right, Matthew Elder, Zane Shaughnessy. Right now up on 19 and 20. Jacob Bianchi currently with a 3-bagger on 21. Molly Bramble to his right. We'll see Talon Spar here in just a second. This is Edler, excuse me, Matthew Edler. Again, 33 feet. You should anticipate seeing bowling balls going down the right or left side portions of the lane to the outside. The one thing about this pattern that when I briefly watched the practice session a little bit, as Jacob now with 4 in a row, great shot there by Talon. You know, in a short pattern, you anticipate a hook because it's a short pattern, right? And especially on 33 feet, but that I didn't see a lot of bounce, if you will, and I use that in air quotes. You know, even on that shot from Matthew, right, you would anticipate a 33-foot pattern to at least give you some level of friction, and that's just not the case on this. So this might be and probably would be the most difficult of all the patterns here this weekend. Again, short pattern today or this morning. The long pattern will be this afternoon. And then tomorrow we head to Maple Lanes, just 10 minutes away. We head to Maple Lanes for the medium pattern, and that is where the finals of this event will be contested as well. It'll be 3 stepladder finals. Appreciate if everyone would be kind enough to share the broadcast, let everyone know where you're watching. Again, it took us a little bit of a minute to get up and running, but the best part about it sometimes is we had a little bit of extra time built in because of announcements, practice, etc. Let me give you a look at the lane pattern here, because I'm telling you, it's it does present a few varying challenges. We'll watch Matthew again. Now Matthew, unfortunately, tossed one in the channel, so he may be a bit too far right. Jacob. Jacob's got the right idea. Good shot. 4 in a row, and he wraps a 10-pin. We'll get into some of the informative items, not only about the pattern, but the players themselves. All right, while we have a moment, let's go ahead and put the pattern up. Again, 33 feet with 25.45 mils. You'll see Will Hudson, who was out working and practicing hard yesterday. Really good shot there, is able to trip a 4. Using Infinity on the lanes in regards to oil. So again, it's playing like a not so typical short pattern. Now, having said that, if you miss left, if you're a righty, if you miss left or if you miss somewhere in the middle part of the lane, you're going to see the early friction because it is short and it is flat still, and that's where you see the majority of that. There was some, I mean, there was a ton of urethane that we saw go down the lane yesterday. I think Zane lost his footing there. We are just underway, folks. That would be, I think, what you'd call a good miss this weekend there from Jacob. It would let you know that, and it lets him know he's in the right part of the lane. If his miss is going to be where it was there and he can still get to the Brooklyn side, that's going to be a good miss. 5 games on each pattern, 15 games to determine who will advance to the stepladder finals. Again, tomorrow we've got 5 on short, 5 on long. And then we'll wake up tomorrow morning a bit earlier. We'll start at 7:30 a.m. Central Time tomorrow at Maple Lanes. 5 games on medium before we advance to the stepladder finals. There's Josh Burnell. Here is Riley Schillinger. I'm going to go with Schillinger. Yeah, I think it's Schillinger. Connor Hanna. Connor came up and thanked me earlier for being here, which I appreciated. Vander's Immortal, or Vader's, excuse me. I can tell you where Jace is, but we only have essentially 6 lanes of coverage here of the tournament. I do know that also. Everyone is skipping 2 pairs, so be moving 2 pairs or skipping 2 pairs to the right. So I'll try to find out where Jace started and try to let you know when they might be on a featured pair, or perhaps if you know what lane they are starting on already, I can try to help you in that regard. Hello, Denise. Appreciate you watching from Lockport. For those of you watching, and please let me know where you're watching from. It will be good to know as we move about the broadcast today. And also the staff of the tournament would like to know as well, where some of the viewers are coming from. Will Hudson over there after the struggles in frame 2 has rebounded nicely with a 3-bagger. All right, we got some good folks watching who are, no problem, Vaders. I will get on that for you as soon as I get a moment. Sandy is watching from Newton, Iowa. Eric watching from Florence, South Carolina. For those of you maybe watching and who may have been impacted by Hurricane Ian, certainly hope everything is well in your area if you are watching from that part of the country. Scooby, appreciate you. Houston in the building today. I saw Prey Lawson. Actually, Prey is on the lane 14 currently. And that means if he is to skip 2 pairs, he actually should join us on 19 and 20 for game 2. Mama Falcon watching. And good job to Connor. SNU Bowling made a great point earlier. I didn't get a chance to get back to it, but I will now regarding the you know, you obviously can't miss left because it is 33 feet, but you can't just toss it right either because it's 33 feet. And it's rare to see a short pattern play that way. Good shot. Quality shot there from Connor. Keep you posted on what's happening over on 15 and 16. Young Anthony Swanson, one of the top players certainly in the Midwest, I would say, but his star is rising across the country. He's going to be just to the left of your screen here. See if we can get him in momentarily. There's Anthony right there, left of your screen. Big shot. Anthony now with 7 in a row. What looks to be a purple hammer. He went 9 spare split in frame 2. And now the back 7. And his 10th frame is coming up next. We'll keep you updated over there on 15 and 16. Again, 17 and 18, as you saw briefly there. I've got a camera there, and obviously 19 through 22. That is the majority of what we will get today from Cadillac, and then we'll be switching centers and head to Maple Lanes. I'll go there tonight with some of the staff and set things up. Opportunity to showcase both Cadillac and Maple. Miss Tony, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Hello to Doris. And Veronica. Well, so far just within viewing range, mention Anthony Swanson. Anthony can get to 267. Other than that, Jacob Bianchi, who was obviously here on 21 and 22, has remained clean, trying to keep it that way here in the 9th frame. And of course, I gave him the old broadcaster jinx. Will Hudson now with 6 in a row. And again, talking about being able to rebound, go through, and get past adversity. Quick shot here. I'll keep you updated on Anthony Swanson. He got the first one in the 10th. Swanson with 8 in a row. As we see Mr. Edler pop in your screen here. All right, quick look at Swanson, left side of your screen. Good shot there by Anthony. And Anthony with a spare will be at 256 to start. I did, well, this was at Maple Lanes. I watched him practice a little bit as that was Jackson there missing the spare, unfortunately. That was Abigail Starkey. I'll get you back to try to see Abby's 10th frame a little bit as well. There's Bianchi. Jacob with a couple of tough spares here late. Nice shot. Talon Spar. He had something working too, an unfortunate 9th frame. There's Abby, left side of your screen. Spare there for Abby. She can get to 183 with the strike. Swanson did finish with 256. 256 for Anthony Swanson. This is Damon Borton finishing out the 10th frame. One more look here at Abby Starkey up on the left side of your screen. Starkey, this is her fill shot. She can strike to get to 183. Very nice shot, and Abby playing what looked to be about 4 or 5, right in the same vicinity as Anthony Swanson. So it looks like if you want to score on this pattern, which again, it's a short pattern, so you'd be thinking 5 outside of 5. Great shot there by Chris. Abby looks to be going kind of right up the boards. Swanson had a little bit of belly, but not much. Maybe just a couple of boards with his urethane. And is able to get some nice peel down lane. And we've seen a lot of kind of in between as well. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Wow, way to do it. Way to get it done, Chris. That was textbook. He didn't quite stick the landing, but I'd still give him like a 9-8 on that, right? Because he could have easily gone over the line. But he handled business. He used his right foot to keep his balance to ensure that he did not go over the foul line. And 10 back all at the same time. That right there, get to 9.8 in my book, Chris. Go ahead and finish it out, young man. All right, Chris is going to get to 164. Really cool jerseys, too. Some of the players are sporting the Midwest Youth Main Event official jersey, courtesy of High Five Gear. Big thanks to the sponsors here. Brandon Steen, of course, of Guaranteed Rate, presenting sponsor of this wonderful event, along with Roto Grip, High Five Gear, Experience Waterloo, and obviously Cadillac Lanes. Other sponsors do include, of course, Maple Lanes and Hampton Inn. And shout out to Ben Truex, general manager over at Hampton Inn, downtown Cedar Falls. Great facility. Appreciate the hospitality. Will, bang. Will Hudson. Will Hudson, 9 spare. Then he went double gutter in frame 2, 6 spare, and now taking it off the sheet. That's a good lesson for any youth player, really anybody, but especially youth players. Hey, listen, you throw one in the channel, you throw 2 in the channel. The game is not over. Hudson again. High flush, leaves a 4-pin. That is quality bowling, all things considered there. Able to work himself into a 7-bagger after throwing 2 gutters in frame 2. And a spare is going to get him to 229. Misses the spare, unfortunately, but 228 to start is not too shabby, especially with some of the scores and what we've seen here on this 33-foot pattern. We have made it through game 1, folks. And for me, whew, I feel like I can breathe a little bit, especially with what was happening before we started this live stream. Game 2 is on the way. At some point today, we will talk with Jacob Bedard, courtesy of Roto Grip. Talk about one of the presenting sponsors here. Talk about lane play on this lane condition, what he would do as well. We'll try to get him in maybe game 3. And at some point today, we'll talk to Brandon Steen as well and get his thoughts on how this event came about, the creation of it, everything that it takes to run a successful event like this, certainly, and all of the above. All that is coming up next, but first and foremost, it's game 2, and it's on the way. You're watching the inaugural Midwest Youth Main Event right here on Bowlstream TV. Game 2 is officially underway. Players have made their moves. They've skipped, again, skipping 2 pairs to the right. So we'll have Ashlyn Tevis. We just saw Prey Lawson. Let's see, Christian Peterson is on 21 and 22 along with Owen Brinker. Abby Starkey on 21 and 22 as well. This is Owen Brinker stepping up for his first shot. We'll get you into 17 and 18 as well with Gianna Brandolino, Landon Jordan, Rush Steen. Oh, good shot there for Bray. And kind of a wicked leave on essentially a light 4-pin. There's Karsten Guess. Well, Caleb off to a nice start here in the early 3-bagger. We'll have a few pairs with 5, as you can see, and we'll have a few with 4. And so 19 and 20 already. They're hustling, and of course Caleb is striking too, so that certainly helps. Nicely done, Derek. I think he played that one up a little bit extra for the camera, and I'm not mad about that either. Do you, Derek? Do you, my man? So Derek Lewandowski with 3 in a row. Now Caleb Sorensen looking for 4 in a row. And Caleb from Forest City, Iowa. He's got to push a little bit. That's a good break though. Only leaving the 7-pin. Caleb's favorite school subject is algebra. Right now enjoys cross country, baseball, basketball, golf, and collecting baseball cards. That's a hot market right there too, Caleb. Seen Ashlyn Tevis a few times here. It's part of the Elite Youth Tour. Won a couple of titles now. One of the top players in the Rockford area. Speaking of top players, take a quick look at Landon Jordan. So far, it looks like a few players have figured out a way to get some hook down lane on this pattern. Oh, that was beautiful there from Gianna Brandolino. Using something that had a little bit of surface, very smooth, which is certainly what you'd want on a short pattern But where she's playing, that laydown was probably about 13, 14-ish. And so to get it to go through that spot early at the heads, very important and very impressive. There's Rush. Bang. Rush Steen. He had a really good look with his purple hammer, I think on the medium pattern yesterday at Maple Lanes. Andrew Wiles attacking them a little further left. That's where you could potentially get into trouble. But his ball actually did not duck hook. It kind of hooked and stopped a little bit. And if he can kind of figure out a way to tame that and keep it around the 1-3, he might be in business. Dawson Peterson, really good shot on lane 16. I heard a lot of great items about Dawson and recent accomplishments from Stewartville, Minnesota. And we'll see Dawson actually on 19 through 22 coming up next. I'll keep you updated on what's happening there. Let's take a couple more shots here. You know, sometimes you want to get a look at how to play the lanes. A couple of players in front of us are doing it pretty well. Landon Jordan, his twin brother Griffin, just to the left of him, and he just struck on 16. That's got a hook. In the 2-4-8-10. And just like that, folks, I mean, that's how difficult this pattern is. She maybe missed early, maybe a couple boards. And because there's just no boom, boom regarding, you know, a spot, so to speak, down lane to throw at. You know, your misses, even so subtle, can be unfortunately detrimental as the ball gets down lane. If we missed anybody, feel free to you know, drop your location. That's got to get some help there. Drop your location. Let us know where you're watching from. If you have any questions about the event itself, be happy to try to answer those for you also. There's going to be some I haven't seen any rough looks yet, right, after game one. But this is part of the challenge. And you get 3 lane conditions to obviously try to bowl your best and have an opportunity to make the stepladder finals. We'll watch Rush here. 3 in a row. His dad, of course, Brandon, one of the presenting sponsors, one of the staff members and creators of this tournament. Mom is in the building as well. Got a very nice break. He'll take that break. That's what Andrew was looking to do. That's a solid shot from the young two-handed righty. All right, let's get you back to 19, 20, 21, and 22. Well, it's been a little tough here for Anthony Swanson. Early strike in the first, 3 consecutive splits that he did convert one in the 4th. There's a good one. We're talking about talented individuals, right? And good students. Anthony Swanson from Evanston had a chance to talk with his dad a little bit last night. Mom isn't here this weekend, but they normally are both around or Elite Youth Tour events in the Chicagoland area. But Anthony is also a musician, along with his talented bowling skills, obviously. His the extra, I'm not to ask his dad, but the instrument that he plays, I am forgetting the name of it. But I think the family has the musical gene. All right, good spare there for Prey. Hello to Jeffrey Foster watching from Knoxville, Tennessee. Hello, Lee. Appreciate you tuning in this morning. It is 10:16 a.m. Central Time. So not quite the afternoon on the Eastern Time front. There's Derek. That's a good one there from Ashlyn Tevis. I tell you what, a couple of tough frames, but made the gutter spare in the 7th, and then follows with a good shot here in the 8th. By the way, if you're looking for standings, Bowl Metrics is the place to be there. I'll drop that link for you here in the chat in just 1 second. If you're unfamiliar with Bowl Metrics, you can search results and stats by a variety of ways. '17 and '18 are in the 6th frame, with 19 and 20 now into the 9th. Here's Starkey, 6th frame, Abby. Good shot, high flush. Didn't look like he liked that one, but we'll take it. That's a good break for Anthony. Tevis struck in the 9th, and that sets her up, excuse me, for an opportunity to get into the 190s in the 10th frame. Caleb had a really nice start here, now working on the 4-7. Prey Lawson from Keokuk, Iowa. Right now, his favorite school subject, American history. Enjoys photography, watching trains, and volunteering conductor at Midwest Central Railroad. That's really interesting. I didn't know you could volunteer to conduct. Trains have always kind of fascinated me a little bit as well, especially as a kid. I have a 3-year-old and an almost 2-year-old, and someone got him a really cool, what seems to be like an 800-piece train set that we haven't quite figured out. Like, you know, you need a cool table to put the train on, but I know once we open it, there's going to be pieces everywhere, so you got to like keep it in somehow like controlled chaos. But he's kind of into some trains. Good break there for Tevis. Thomas the Train too is now cool in our household. Nice shot, Christian. That's his second strike, but that one was excellent. 148 here for Derek. Can Tevis get another excellent shot? Looks like she moved a little left, maybe even a ball change, but she moved closer to the gutter, and that seems to be the right answer. Her ball speed a little bit slower, so her ball will have more time to kind of get through some additional oil out there. Nice finish for Ashlyn Tevis.
Whatever you want me to join, just let me know.
3.
Right after you.
Abby having some trouble trying to string him here. Split, double, 9-spare strike in the split in the 7th. Talked to them obviously not being easy. She was asking for some help there. That was like that in-between shot where you kind of like, that one looks good enough, and then all of a sudden, there's no hook. Final shot here for young Caleb Sorensen. See if Starkey can make this one. She'll get the count. Meanwhile, Swanson with a 4-pin. All right, 19 and 20 is complete. So what we're going to do is we'll kind of go back and forth here as 17 and 18 are nearing completion. Well, I think this pair Obviously playing a little bit different. 21 and 22 as opposed to 15 and 16. All right, speaking of 15 and 16, let's take a look at 17 and 18. There's Brock Alderson. Shot at here at Landon Jordan. That one crossing over two for Landon. This is obviously not the most easiest of lane conditions. There's a good break. Quality break there for Rushdeen. Gianna Brandolino, one of the top players in the country as well. Really trying to figure some things out here. You don't see G struggle like this very often. And so when you do, that certainly is an indicator of just how difficult the pattern is. Again, 33 feet, 25 mils, 1.2 to 1. All right, 10th frame over on 21 and 22. Watch Alderson here. And then we'll see Karsten Guess. He'll take care of his 10 pin. And we'll see the 10th frame shot here with Swanson. The wiggle of the 8. No pins mounts here, as I was watching Brock Alderson potentially gave a run at a split. It's Carson. I do remember seeing him at Junior Gold this year. And Swanson chops the spare in the 10th frame. Went 250 in game one, but he'll give a few back, but not really in any trouble at the moment. And again, all games, all qualifying totals cumulative. So 5 games on short, 5 games on long this afternoon, and then we'll have competition again in the morning. We'll move over to Maple Lanes, and we'll have 5 games there as well before advancing the top 4 in each division to the stepladder finals. We have U15 and U18 boys, and 1 combined girls division with U18 and U15. Here's Landon, 10th frame. That's a really good shot there for Brandolino. Obviously not the break she was looking for, but you almost can't throw it better than what she did. As Starkey makes the spare in the 10th. Wow. And off camera, Landon chops the 1-2-4 in the 10th to get to 183. Christian Peterson, unfortunate miscue there in the 10th. That gets him to 161. Fill shot coming up here for Abigail Starkey. Looks like she tried something on the field there. Got closer to the gutter from this angle. The best things about Abby's game to me is her release. Very soft. You don't see Abby kind of grab it very often as well. And on this, you got to be soft, I think, also. The moment you grab it, especially depending on where you're playing, but if you miss left and you grab it, it's going left. Nice shot there by Rush Steen. Rush has got a crowd behind him. Owen, 10th frame. Good break on the other side. To his left, Dawson Peterson. We'll see him over on 19 and 20. Oh, I'm sorry, 21 and 22 here in a sec. Rush for one more. And a 1-2-4. Not a bad game, though. It'll take 197. That's a rare, what is that's the 159. I don't think you see that one all that often. And 150 here for Owen to end game 2. Game 3 is coming up next. All right, we'll have Jacob Bedard join us here in just a sec as we get game 3 underway. It's already going on 17 and 18. Let's get you there a little bit. So Jacob will join us. We'll talk about this lane condition. We'll kind of reset the broadcast for you a little bit as well. Throw the pattern on the old screen. We'll have Jacob talk about that. Give his thoughts on what he would do if he were to give some advice, what advice that would be, and obviously talk about what's going on at Roto Grip. And boy, all right, Cooper. I feel like we see that way too often, and I feel like it also shouldn't happen, right? You shouldn't be able to take the 3 from the 1-3-6, but that's exactly what just took place. Lewis Shantz, Bryce Bergman, Caitlin Valentine, Cooper Daniels, and Tyler Paulus here on 17 and 18. We'll get you over to 19, 20, 21, and 22 here in just a little bit. I'm going to check in on Jacob, see if he is ready to hop in the booth. If anyone has any questions for Jacob, again, he represents Roto Grip, one of the top bowlers certainly in this Waterloo, Cedar Falls area. And we'll talk about, again, lane conditions, pattern, equipment, and such. So, got a question? Feel free to drop that. That's coming up next. Yeah, so if you want to go flip it, just turn it. Yep, and then the earphones on. Yep. Pull that down, closer to your mouth. Perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about it. Told you who was coming up next, and Jacob is here. Please welcome Jacob Bedard to the Bowl Stream TV broadcast here at the Midwest Youth Main Event. Jacob, first and foremost, thank you for being here and certainly supporting what looks to be and what is going to be, I think, a continued run of a great youth event here in the Waterloo Cedar Falls area.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is a good turnout for the first year, and I think eventually it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. A lot of good kids out here.
Well, one of the interesting challenges, obviously, right off the bat was the three pattern tournament, which you don't see a lot of at the youth level, really at any level. So short, long, and medium, and we start with the short pattern today. I'm going to throw the short pattern on the screen just so the viewers can get an idea again if they missed it earlier. So 33 feet, 25.45 mils. I think it was 1.21 from a ratio perspective. If you were to compete on this today, and you looked at this graph, and we'll also throw in maybe you threw a few shots in the practice session, how would you try to attack this condition?
Yeah, 33 foot's pretty short, and it's pretty flat. And when it's flat like that in the middle, starting out, you can't play up the lane. There's just no hold at all. So you will have to swing it if you're right-handed, left to right. Not a lot, but you probably want your break point to be right around the 2 to 3. I see a lot of kids using urethane, which is probably the smart play. As it transitions, that urethane will push the oil down, and you probably have to ball up to a bigger piece like a gem or maybe even a proton physics with all the carry down.
Good stuff there from Jacob. It's an interesting thing, right? That was one of the things that struck me earlier, no pun intended, by watching the practice session, that it wasn't a quote-unquote traditional short pattern where you would anticipate hook. Like, there should be hook somewhere on a short pattern. But watching players, bowling balls, you know, right of 5, sometimes end up in the channel, 3 off the right, wash out. I was like, well, execution is definitely going to be very important this week. And it's still, as you mentioned, flat, where if you miss left, it's probably going left.
Very left. And you got 27 foot of hook at the end of the pattern. If you miss left, you'd probably be lucky to get 3 off the left. When I practiced on it, I started with urethane, and it was too early. So I actually went with a short pin IQ Tour, and I also have a Gravity Evolve. It's a short pin, and that actually helped blend it out, and I was able to project it right without actually going in the gutter. I had quite a bit of surface on it, though. Resin and surface helped me because it got through the front of the lane a little bit better than urethane.
Would it be different? And I haven't seen you bowl, so you know, feel free to kind of describe your attributes, rev rate, et cetera, but would it be, it could be different obviously depending on rev rate, what you like to do with the bowling ball,
right,
speed dominant, et cetera.
So I'm a higher rev player. I have more axis rotation than most, which hurts me on shorter patterns, but I can adjust that a little bit. So for me, the higher rev players is what I'm talking about, how I played them. The straighter players, I see some of the girls were able to play right up the lane. I couldn't do that. If I played up the lane, I was lucky to even get 1 on the left side. But it's tough no matter what it is. Your spare game's got to be sharp. And that's one thing that I'm usually pretty good at, but this year it seems to be a struggle. But I'm blaming it on my age. I'm getting old.
Father time is undefeated.
Yeah, that is true. There's baseball and football I got to keep after.
So for those that don't know, and you know, feel free to discuss yourself in that regard as much as you want. And you may be very humble to the point where you don't like talking about yourself, but for the viewers who are unfamiliar, you just discuss or talk about some of the things that you've done here, both locally, nationally. I think I may have seen a Hall of Fame in there as well.
Yeah, I'm a local Hall of Fame member. I think 2018. I'm not really sure exactly. I think
it's
that's
2018.
I'm not really sure when it was. A few years ago.
Sure.
It was before COVID, and then I don't know. I dabbled a little bit in the regional Midwest region, and I've done some U.S. Opens, some Masters. I've cashed in a couple Masters events, and I think 2008 is when I stopped kind of following the PBA dream, I should say. Father time, life changes, work.
Sure.
So, not to mention it's a struggle because you pay for travel, pay for the tournament, and if you don't cash, it's a long weekend.
Right.
So, I would say I'm an accomplished bowler. I feel like I'm really knowledgeable, and I can help a lot of people. It's like, do as I say, don't do as I do. Because sometimes I need to eat my own words because I don't follow my own direction.
There's Brooke Salzman, who has started with 9 spare 3-bagger.
She throws it really good. Of course, I jinxed her.
So what we do here is the minute you put on the headset, you're just in the automatic jinx. Speaking of throwing it well, Kara Maxim.
Oh, nice.
One thing I noticed about Kara's game, and she actually used to, I forgot where they live in Nebraska, her and her parents. They are from Nebraska. And when the PWBA came to Lincoln, I think we've been there 4 or 5 times, but she would often come out, bowl the Pro-Am, and watch, obviously, all weekend long. And one of the things I noticed about her game is the acceleration continues her. You see a lot of players decelerate at the end, which is what you don't want to do. I think she would be a very good example of how not to de-accelerate. She is still going through, kind of like Shannon O'Keefe, where she's still powerfully moving toward the foul line at release point.
Yeah, she's got a lot at the bottom. I mean, it comes through quick, but that actually helps her. It gives her some leverage. She uses her legs a lot. And that's where you get all your power from, so.
Fortunate miscue there for Ainsley. We talked a lot about Ainsley, not on the air yet, but got a chance to talk with her dad a lot the last couple of days. Matthew, one of the individuals part of the YBSF here, and responsible obviously for the creation of this event. Standout high school player as well is Ainsley.
Yeah, she's grown so much in the last 2 years. Just from ball knowledge to how to play conditions and stuff. But that grows as you bowl on the tougher stuff. Your experience just grows and grows. If you're wanting to.
Right.
If you're closed-minded, you'll never see it.
That's a very important point too. You got to be able to, or you got to want to learn that information. And not everyone, as crazy as it sounds, I think at the youth level it's a little different because most youth players, I would say 95%, want to learn or want to get better. And some are just going to have that they're just naturally gifted, and so all they need is a few additional knowledge tricks, and they're kind of off and running. It's the adults sometimes that you got to force to learn something new.
When I'm helping the youth or the younger players and trying to help them develop a little bit, even when they struggle, I'm like, you always got to learn something. Take away, even if you have your worst day ever, learn from something. You got to learn something every day, even in life. I mean, if you learn something every day in life, you're growing. And yeah, you're not going to have your best day every day, and it's hard for me even to grasp that, but you learn from it, and then hopefully you're able to overcome it next time. You've seen that problem and you solve it.
Shot for Cooper Daniels just off camera. We'll go back to 17-18 in a little bit here. Dawson Peterson, I was mentioning earlier. Someone told me a little bit about Dawson. I think he won a very big tournament in Minnesota not too long ago. A 5K youth event that they run there. Throws it really well.
Very well.
In fact, Dawson from, again, Stewartville, Minnesota, enjoys hunting and golfing. And high average foul shot 230, 300, the high game, a high series right now, 794. Favorite bowler is Chris Prather.
Tough not to like Prather.
See a little Chris Prather there, too.
Yeah, smooth as silk.
Chris Prather is one thing I noticed about watching youth players the last couple of years, and you can tell who's really cool on tour, on both tours, PBA and PWBA, by what the youth bowlers put down as their favorites. And there's a lot of Chris Prathers. It's always a lot of Verities, a lot of Daria Payokes, obviously Belmo, Kyle Troop. You see Liz Johnson, a lot of Brianna Cote, Janet O'Keefe as well, obviously. One of my favorites so far is Rachel Moore. I don't think we've seen Rachel yet, but it goes to show where she's from Keokuk, and her favorite bowler is Derek Sapp.
That's her dad.
How about that?
Isn't it her dad?
I'm not sure.
But that's where Derek's from, is
Correct.
Keokuk.
Yeah.
He's an excellent player.
Yeah.
He don't give himself enough credit.
He's collegiate coaching now, right?
I'm not for sure.
I think he is. I don't remember the school. I'm going to Google that. Derek was just after my, or just before my start of collegiate bowling. So I kind of just missed him, which is probably a good thing. Because he was excellent and still is.
I saw him do things with the bowling ball I've never seen before. I was like,
I've heard so many stories, and that's how I know. Like, to me, when I hear stories about players, especially really good to great players, it's like I just sit and listen because you want to hear about, how great someone really was.
Yeah, we bowled a couple of the U.S. Open qualifiers that the Greater Iowa runs here, and I didn't cross with him, but watching him play some of the lane, I'm like, how is he even doing that? But he's always a humble guy. He never toots his own horn, so I kind of like that about him.
BC Lawson says Canton, Missouri. That sounds familiar. I know it's a school that I feel like used to be part of the Heart of America Athletic Conference, which is, I went to Lindenwood, which used to be in that conference back in the day. Culver Stockton, that's it. He is the head coach at Culver Stockton.
I would have never known that.
Well, I'm here to, I guess, help you learn, right? You just talked about learning.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's my one thing of the day.
You saw Maxim get to 4 in a row and look to be throwing maybe a pitch black. I think, speaking of equipment, you represent Roto Grip. They are a proud sponsor of the Midwest Youth main event. Talk about some of the either A, B, kind of new releases, and even, you talked about it a little bit before, but, some equipment that might work on this lane condition, and maybe some of the other patterns that we might see throughout the weekend.
Yeah, so I've been with Roto Grip since 2008. So I've been on the Storm family for quite a while. So right now what we have in the line, obviously the gem on the Roto Grip side is the big hooker, as they say, but the ball's so versatile. It's got the lowest RG that Roto Grip's ever created, and that allow you could actually throw it on the short. Maybe use a little shorter pin to PAP, and it'll actually allow you to open the lane up a little bit because it just blends everything out. But as far as it's tough not to throw the pitch black in there because that seems to be a lot of the short pattern balls to go to. The UC3 is pretty strong for urethane. It's better for the lower rev players that need that urethane look. I don't know, the new Hype line too is the Hype Solid is like an IQ Tour, but for me it's so much smoother, and I think you could transition from the pitch black to the Hype Solid once the carry down hit, depending on your rev rate and your tilt and your rotation. But there's a lot of new pieces that are out that are just, we could talk all day about the technology and what Storm does for the game, and it's like it's always advancing.
That's one line you just mentioned, the Hype Solid, that I don't know much about. I saw a couple pieces maybe a few weeks ago. I forgot where I was at, but I couldn't make it out on a ball rack. And obviously when people watch live streams, sometimes they would like to know what bowling ball a particular player is throwing. And I was looking dead at this bowling ball and could not figure out what it was, and it was I think it was a Hype Solid. And so now, obviously, learning a little bit more.
Yeah, so it's not an entry level, but it's the lower end piece. I think it's the HP2 line. It's got a diff of, I think, 037, so it's a little higher than the IQ Tour, but it's super, super smooth. It'll blend out. It seems like any pattern. It's like one of those balls that you could throw on anything, long, short. It's just one of those benchmark balls, and it's at a good price point too.
I feel, and I think every company certainly does this, but Roto Grip, maybe they've just got a knack for it, but like lower end bowling balls, sometimes that they produce, tend to perform like high performance bowling balls, and you get well worth 800 times over the money that you paid for.
Schlem does a good job, definitely. I mean, obviously all the R&D, but Schlem has a big part of it. But they do a good job at giving that performance for that price point. And the hyped line is, so the hyped hybrid, the pink and black, is so good. That's probably underrated because people don't, think of it. Oh, that's a lower end ball, but it's not. It performs at a high level, and at the cost, it's well worth the money.
The Hustle line is right.
That's so good. From the Hustle Link, I still have a Hustle Link in my bag. I bought it on eBay because I was like, I need to find another one. But the Hustle line is phenomenal. Now the Hustle USA, I just drilled another one on Thursday, and just to kind of compare it with the Hustle Camo, and it just rolls so good. That line, I don't know if it'll ever go away. I hope it doesn't ever go away.
I hope not either.
It's just so, I mean, you can, for a lower diff ball, you can play any part of the lane. You can go way in with it, and it actually still carries. And that's one thing that you don't see with lower end equipment. Scores.
Definitely not. It's and again, you would anticipate that it wouldn't do that.
I thought maybe after, I mean, when we practiced on it, after the urethane went down and carried some oil down, that you could create some hold. But it's so many different people playing them different. It never did. The hold's not there, and the OB got bigger.
Folks, if you're experiencing a little buffering, I am seeing the network kind of reestablish itself here, so we should be good at this point, but appreciate you hanging tough. That's some really good games so far. In fact, speaking of games, let's take a look at some standings courtesy of Bowl Metrics.
Dawson's on a good game right here.
Dawson as well. Griffin Jordan is also on that pair. We mentioned Brooke and Ainsley, as well as Davin. And U15 boys through 2 games. And Bowl Metric scores are updated in real time. Or, I'm sorry, maybe 3 games. Actually 3 games. It looks like the majority of the field, perhaps on the lower end, are complete with game 3. So we do have a couple of scores through 3 games. Josh Weems is at plus 13 for 3. Tyler Paulus is, let's see, minus 85 for 3. Anthony Swanson was plus, and I don't think he is complete with game 3 yet. So Swanson was plus 21. I'll add a few more once we get through game 3. See what else is happening in U18 boys. Dawson Peterson was plus 44, and he's going to add to that total, obviously, with 235. Nice job there by Ainsley. We've seen a couple of gutters today. Earlier today, Will Hudson. I give him his props again.
The double gutter, and then not 6 spare, then like a 7 bagger.
Hey, that's impressive.
Oh, very impressive. Way to keep your composure.
It's hard not to get discouraged on 1 gutter, and then you throw 2, and then obviously on a short pattern, so you're going to be in that area of the lane,
right? And
so to be focused, keep that focus, and rattle off 7 in a row is impressive. He got to 228 that game. All right, U18 boys, let's see, just mentioned Dawson. Griffin Jordan was plus 4. We'll see Griffin, or finishing up, I should say, is Griffin, already with 1 in the 10th. Ainsley, that one looked to be maybe a board, a 2 right. Count would give her 198.
which is a good game right now.
Irish Griff, and that's one of the things that still can creep up. Right, that really, to me, that really let us know that the pattern's difficult. Right, you can still leave 2-4-8-10, 2-8-10, 2-10 type leaves on a 33-foot pattern. If anyone has any questions for Jacob about roto grip equipment, anything like that, lane play, etc. Jacob, how long do I have you for?
You can have me for as long as you want.
Okay, let's get him to at least.
My wife's working, so I'm.
Game 4. Keep him for at least one more game. There's Maxim. That's got to push. I think she enjoyed the landing there. But she'll take the 3-pin. One of the things that on short patterns too, right, you got to keep in mind is that how you shoot spares may change ever so slightly because of the length of the condition. It's flat in the middle, so sometimes you'll see that plastic ball kind of hook a little bit when you're not expecting it to.
Yep. And I noticed a couple two-handers that come off the side and have a little more axis rotation, throws plastic at their 10-pin normally, and it never even got there. It hit the head pin. And it's like, yeah, you have to be up the back of it on the short patterns for your spare game. Otherwise, you're going to see different moves even out of a plastic ball.
Joe Engelkiss watching. Hello, Joe. Good morning. He says good morning to you, Jake.
Good morning, Joe.
As well. Thanks for the support, Joe, of course. Midwest Youth main event, game 3 of 5. It's the first block of qualifying on the short lane condition, 33 feet. 25.5 mils, 0.21. 1.2 to 1, excuse me, on the ratio.
Maybe we can have Joe run a Midwest main event for the adults, and we can go short pattern, long pattern, medium pattern for the weekend. Hint, hint, Joe.
Fall Classic just wrapped up.
Yeah. Joe runs a good tournament. Him and his family do a great job. He's actually running a tournament tomorrow in Des Moines.
How far is Des Moines from here?
About 2 hours.
Okay.
Not too bad. Boring drive, but straight over, straight down.
Trying to get my Iowa geography together. By the way, great game by Kara, 237. I was telling Brandon and I think Angie and Matt, been to Iowa several times in my life. I used to bowl a lot of the Greater Iowa youth events that Eric Liddick runs. So a lot of the cities I've been to are courtesy of that tournament or that tournament series or tour. My niece went to the University of Iowa, so made a few trips to Iowa City. And then, but once I get, once we're out of like Des Moines or think of Des Moines, I'm like, okay, where on the map is the respective cities from like Des Moines? I don't think I had been to Waterloo until this weekend.
Oh, really? Oh.
I don't believe so. I could be wrong, and I'm just missing out on a GISBT that I bowled back in the day.
Well,
but
hopefully we can have you back.
I do hope to come back. I hope to return. This event looks like it's going to be, it's already a great event, and it looks like obviously it's going to continue to grow as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into putting this event on, and Brandon and Matt and Angie and all the rest of the crew. I know they've been working on it for months, and working with Leanne and Blair from Storm. It's a lot of work, but it's all worth it. Get back to the kids, help grow their future, and hopefully get some scholarships to them.
$1,000 scholarships for first place in each division, along with some very cool championship belts.
Yeah, they're sweet.
Are you a championship belt kind of guy?
I would. I'm like, the champ is here.
I love it. Yeah, that's me. My love of wrestling from back in the day made me a stout
WWF
championship belt person. I've yet to kind of buy one because Like, if you get a real one, you get down to it, it's like, do I really want to spend what it takes to really own a legit championship belt? Like, no, but I'm good with a replica. I'm
That's
okay
right.
with that.
Yeah, the NWO and
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I watched that every week when I was growing up.
Got to give a shout out to the PBA too, because their relationship with Fox and the WWE in that regard. I forgot which event. I don't know if it was the PBA playoffs or the tour finals. I think it was the playoffs where they do the champion does get a.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's authentic, but it looks like it, from TV. A legit championship belt from WWE.
I believe Kyle Troop repeated.
Yeah.
Because he had 2 belts on, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
That's another player that gives so much back to the game, Kyle Troop. Good for the fans.
All right, Melanie Burrish, Emily Kringle, Ethan Caruso is part of the Junior Team USA developmental squad this year. His brother, Brandon, is now a freshman at Wichita State. Brandon did make the select team, so he will be out traveling with the squad. So Ethan's mom, she did make the trip this week. Reigning state champions in Illinois, high school bowling from Manuka. Samantha Camillo over on 19 and 20, and I learned from Coach Dean that she goes to, I don't want to mess up the school, but I think it's Waterloo East.
Yeah.
Where where Brandon coaches.
Brandon coaches Waterloo West.
Waterloo West. See, that's me. Like, I don't want to mess that up, right? You
there's
can't.
Waterloo East and Waterloo West.
I know there's some
Columbus.
rivalries, I'm sure.
When it comes to bowling, though, we're all on the same level, all teammates.
That's good. That's actually great to hear, and I really mean that too. Because sometimes you can get to a certain part of the country or city, and not everyone is kind of on the same page in regards to
if it was football,
the community.
It would be a little separation.
Oh,
But
that's
like
fair.
a lot of these kids bowl together in junior on Saturday, so they're teammates. So they all get along, and I've never seen any rivalry, but the football field, definitely a rivalry.
I can see that. Yeah, West High School for Samantha from right here in Waterloo. Bowling, marching band, softball, choir, swimming. That is a full list of extracurricular activities right there. We'll get you back to 19 to 22 in a minute. Let's take a look at Emily Kringle. At this point in the block, Jake, what would you anticipate from a transition perspective, knowing obviously what we watched on the Fresh and now into Game 4?
So, having it be only 5 games, I thought that we'd see more of a transition, like it open up, but it just what I'm seeing is tighter right, and it's still hooking in the middle. Definitely not getting any easier. I would still be trying to play out. Playing in when it's that flat on that shorter pattern is pretty brutal. Samantha, I think, is in the right part of the lane. It looks like she just missed a little right there. But you gotta give or take what the lane gives you, and what right now it's not giving you much, but the gutter is probably the closest to what it will give you.
See where Ethan Caruso is playing them. He just had part of the Junior Team USA camp not too long ago. Looks like a purple hammer.
Yep, two-hander. That was in. Take it though, I bet.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah.
Take that all day.
I don't. I'm
That's a
lined
good
up.
miss right there. Well, let's take a look at 19 through 22 here. Game 4. Jack Paul, there's Samantha. A shot there by Emily Kringle off camera. Stops the string of opens. Push a little.
The thing is, with a 33-foot pattern, you almost can't go up the lane with it. You have to give it away a little bit. There's just so much friction. That 27-foot hook at the end of the pattern, there's too much friction and don't have enough time to get down the lane, so you have to give it away.
Just saw Joss Weems, the big shot there. Joss was plus 13 after 3 games. I'll double check that. We should have all scores on bowl metrics through 3 games now at this point.
Yeah, he started with 243 the first game, and he's playing up the lane with looked like a pitch black.
There's Victoria White. One of the consistent questions I often get, especially working on the women's tour, is when will we see a two-handed woman on tour?
She throws it really good.
Victoria White could be one of those individuals coming soon. We'll get a chance to see her obviously here in game number 4. Dad made the trip down as well. St. Louis, they live in St. Louis now. And there is another two-handed young lady by the name of Danielle Henderson, also from St. Louis. Has bowled very well last couple of years at junior gold. The college season is kind of approaching. These are all of these kids really. You know, what schools are they looking at, thinking about, etc. Tell you, and I think there are a few collegiate coaches here this week.
Yeah, a couple
locally.
Community colleges are here from the area. Roger Taylor Jr., he's the head coach of Hawkeye, and he does a good job. His team's growing really good.
There's Joss.
Oh, nice. I think that's a Hustle USA he's throwing.
Yeah, we were talking about that hustle line. And the reason I brought that up, being completely honest, I watched a lot of the PWBA players. Oh, help Ethan, help Ethan. Just off camera, Ethan did take care of the 5-pin. It was a little closer than he would have liked. But I watched players like Brianna Cote. I think it was like a Hustle USA was very important, kind of down the stretch.
Yep.
What else was important? Like a PBR, I think a lot of players use.
Hustle Wine was a good one late.
Camo.
On the tour, the men's tour, the Hustle Wine was a popular piece. But the PBR and the Camo was now the USA. I saw Verity was throwing it about a month ago I saw.
Well, highly on the head pin 3610 Victoria. I was talking to them last night, and so the short pattern can be a bugaboo. But you know, this is the type of tournament that you want to compete in to obviously test the skills. But you know, if you've got a weakness, and you know that you're going to be forced to kind of attack that weakness, if you will, kind of puts you in the right mindset from a practice perspective.
Right, and you got to go in like with an open mind and be like, okay, this is not my forte, but you know, I'm gonna watch other people and I'm gonna try to figure this out, so the next time I do see it, I'm gonna be able to compete a little bit better. It was a good shot by Joss.
Young Joss Weems looking pretty good right now. There's never really a time that Joss doesn't look good though, and I've gotten to see him now for like 2 years straight.
That's the first time I've seen him in person, but I've seen him on your live streams a few times. Little guy, but he throws it really good.
And tomorrow, I'm sure, especially when we get later in the block, or you know, you might see him maybe on 19 and 20.
Got a hole. Take it.
Looked to be urethane there, just based on how the ball looked to be reading the lane. Stephanie Alexander in the chat. Hello, Stephanie. If you are just joining us or have been tuning in for a long time, we appreciate you. This is the first round of the Midwest Youth main event. There are 5-game blocks across 3 different lane conditions this morning. We start with short, 33 feet, 25 mils. We'll throw the pattern up one more time for those of you who may just be joining us this afternoon. We'll be bowling on long. And long, 50 feet this afternoon, folks. 5-0. The opposite of what we're seeing now.
Yeah. It's going to be like a reality check from bowling on this.
Joss for a double.
And that's exactly what I was saying is going, because he was throwing the pitch black earlier, and then he transitioned up to a Hustle USA, which comes at, I think, 4K fast, which is a little surface on it, and it blends it. And it's just a little cleaner than the pitch black, and he has a good look with it right now. Basically playing the same lane, or same part of the lane.
Uh-oh.
Oh, mistake there, but.
How rare, and maybe it's not that rare, so I'll leave that to you, but how rare do you see it from a lane pattern perspective where the moves are kind of backwards, right? So if you're thinking about it from maybe a traditional, maybe even from a house shot breakdown where you might be balling down as opposed to balling up as a block goes on. Obviously it's condition based in certain situations, right. But how important is to kind of have that open mind to be thinking about those things?
You have to have an open mind when it comes to that, because especially with urethane these days, pushing the oil down the lane, you can't make it shape down at the back. So you have to almost create that shape with a bigger cord ball. Oh, that was really close. So you have to have an open mind. It's almost opposite of what you would normally think. Like if you bowl on a house pattern or a league pattern, oh, they dry out, they switch to a weaker ball. But the flatter they are, that's how it goes. It's usually you ball up before you ball down.
There's Easton. Easton Wiedenbrand. Again, Jack Poles, Samantha Mio on this pair as well. Camillo from West High School, young Josh Weems. Josh in 8th grade now. Favorite school subject at the moment is math. I think Josh just won one of the local associations in the Greater Calumet, which is in Northwest Indiana. He just won the Youth Bowler of the Year, if I'm not mistaken, in that respective association at Olympia Lanes. Couple 300 games. House shot average for Josh, 240.
Jeez. You can take him on my scratch
I'll
league
take
team.
I'll take that. 826 high series for Josh. Favorite bowlers, Kyle Troop and Deandra Asbeatty. Nice shot there for White.
Yeah, very good.
There's Austin. Quality spare shooting there. You know, almost like a kind of a different way we've been talking about, but we've seen players throw some balls in the channel, and Austin has done a great job of not allowing that to affect him. So got an opportunity to get it to the 190s, and again on what we're bowling on. 190 is a very good score this morning. That's definitely not going to hurt your chances after 15 games total, including tomorrow, to try to make the top 4 to get to the stepladder finals. Speaking of bowl metrics, let's refresh. U18 boys. All right, so Dawson Peterson leading the way at +79. Lucas Herzrug, very good player there, +78 after 3 games. Griffin Jordan is 3rd at -19. Ethan Caruso is 4th at -24, followed by Joseph Woods Wiseman at -38. Cooper Daniels is 6th at -47. Zach Andreessen, I believe that is 7th at -54. Alan Sofer, 8th at -77. Nuviri, 9th at -80. And Austin Esp, 10th at -87. That's your top 10 in U18 boys at the moment. In U18 girls, there is one division this week. U15 and U18 girls are combined. Nice shot there, Jack. Well, we talked about having seen a lot of players being able to go left to right, especially from what looked to be, wasn't quite fourth arrow, but it was close. Kira Maxim leading the way at -4 after the big 237 game we watched on 19 and 20. Brooke Salzman second at -28. Ainsley McConaughey is third at -55. Rachel Moore fourth at -59. Abigail Starkey is fifth at -71. Emily Kringle sixth at -97. Trying to catch Emily and 17 and 18 at the end of their game here coming up in just a second on 17 and 18. Molly Bramble is seventh at -102. Alyssa Cash eighth at -112. Marissa Mose ninth at -116. And Vicki Andrews is 10th at the moment at -119. And finally in U15 boys, again courtesy of Bowl Metrics, Anthony Swanson at +22. Joss Weems second at +13. Tyler Paulus is third at -85, followed by Rhett Ryman fourth at -112. Rustine fifth at -114. And 10th right now is Zane Shaughnessy at -166 in U15 boys. Again, Karsten Guest sixth at 132 under. Will Hudson is seventh at -137. Caleb Sorensen eighth at -155. And Byron Christensen is ninth at -158. Again, visit bowlmetrics.com. That's X on that end, bowlmetrics.com. First tournament that actually appears up top is the Midwest Youth Main Event. Talking about technology and how easy it is now to enter scores.
Looks like Lucas
Yeah.
has a front six down there.
On 11 and 12. And just to their left, or his left, excuse me, it's like maybe another six-backer. Spare, no, I'm sorry. Maybe open six-backer. Someone on the other end. Quick look at 17 and 18. Joss did cross over and leave the 136, so he shoots a 187.
That's not going to hurt him. That's a decent score on this right now.
In fact, he will now be even through 4 games. He was +13. Might make Mr. Bedard stay for the final game since he's here.
I'm here all you want.
Victoria White off camera. Big 4, unfortunately, in the 10th frame here. This is Ethan Caruso working on a 3-bagger. How about 4?
Yes.
Indeed. So if you haven't already, please share across your social media channels. Let us know, or let your friends know what you're watching. If you haven't also already, please subscribe to Bowlstream TV as we continue to grow and add additional events. Big thanks again to Brandon Steen, Angie, Matthew, and everyone involved here with the Midwest Youth Main Event, the opportunity to stream this event. I'll get a break. And hit the like button too. Smash the thumbs up for us. The long pattern will take place again this afternoon, and we will begin at approximately 2 p.m. Central Time. 2 p.m. Central.
I think on the long pattern, you'll see a lot of those gems that were given out for their free ball in use today.
Yes, as part with the entry.
Yep.
A roto grip gem.
Yeah, the high-end big hooker, as we call it.
That's a pretty nice deal right there.
Yeah,
shout out to Roto Grip.
They and if they haven't had it drilled yet, they can run over on their break and have it drilled over at Fran's Pro Shop.
That's right, at Maple Lanes.
Yep.
I believe there's a discount being offered there as well for drilling.
It's $50 for the drilling plus inserts. They should be able to get it done in time for the long pattern this afternoon. Obviously, if everybody went over there, we wouldn't get it.
Lucas Hersrud, his run ended in the 7th frame, but 9 spare, and he is thinking about potentially taking the lead. All done on 17 and 18, and now back to 19 and 20 as this pair finishes up. Zane Shaughnessy way down on the left side there on the low end. Just tripped a 4-pin. 36 lanes here at Cadillac. We are using 32 of them.
Yeah, this used to be a 50-lane center until the Rich Amy family purchased it, and they removed the 14 lanes and added the arcade and made it into a pretty nice center now. I mean, it's got all the aspects that you'd want in a center, from arcade to now they added the hyper bowling this week.
Yeah, just new scoring.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Angie said yesterday, she was like, oh, I don't think it's going to be ready in time. And she came in 4:30 and it was all done. So props to everyone that worked hard to get that done.
New scoring, new carpet.
Yep.
There's still a few things that are in the works. I appreciate Mick and everything that he has done helping us out here, specifically helping me out, trying to make sure and figuring out what we had going from a network perspective this morning. There was a hiccup, but we got it figured out prior. You love when you can get go live, before frame 1.
Looks like Cooper.
How about that? 267.
267. That's a huge game.
Cooper. Let's see. Cooper. All right. Cooper must be in U18 boys. Cooper Daniels was minus 47.
Not anymore. Plus 20.
That's just like that.
That's a prime example of, like, you never give up. You can be minus 40 and keep working at it. Next thing you know, you're back up to the top.
I tell you what, he's been he shot 220 in game 3 on 17 and 18. So I think obviously based on let's see how he started the day.
He's got something figured out.
Let's see. Cooper went 185, 148, and then 220 on 17 and 18, and now 267 on 23 and 24. He's going to finish on 29 and 30. So we'll try to keep an eye on what he is going to finish with. But we haven't seen a lot of players go 220, 260 back to back.
No.
We've seen some good games, but just not consecutively. They've been, Dawson, for example, 245 and 199 is certainly nothing to be upset about. And then 235. So that's about as close as we've seen.
Right.
Lucas Hersrud, 237, 184. 257, and speaking of Hersrud, he went 257. He just had the front 6, right? Or front 7? Front 6? And he can get to 268.
Yeah, that's true. So they must be opening up a little bit, giving them a little more room for some forgiveness. Still not easy, no matter how you look at it.
No, it's weird, but there is if you look at the range finders, right, down lane, and the one at 10, down lane, and just looking at it from the righty perspective, it's weird, but 4 or 5 around the rangefinder down there seems to be a good place for your bowling ball to be.
Yep.
At that point. But how you get it there seems to be the most important on this pattern.
Yeah, it's especially if you try to put, like, if you play the inside, getting it to there, you better be perfect. And then hopefully you're lucky too.
A little luck never hurt anybody.
No. But Lucas down there, he's playing the right part of the lane. He's like going 7 to about 3, 4. Not sure what he's throwing, but it's definitely resin.
We'll find out. We're going to have him on 17 and 18, so we'll get a chance to see where exactly he is playing. And we were just talking about consecutive games, right? So now we've got Cooper Daniels. Now we have Lucas Hersrud in that conversation of consecutive games of, 240, 250 or better. Let's see. What else do we have ongoing? Ethan Caruso now at -5 after the 219 game. And this is U18 boys. Let's see where Dawson Peterson is. He was moving right. All right, looks like we got action over on 21 and 22. We're officially now into game 5, right?
Almost. We got a couple people finishing.
Well, I guess in front of us.
Yes,
we're now
in front
the
of
game.
us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let me hit the button on that. Game 5. There it is. Oh, nice shot.
Yeah.
I saw Keaton a lot yesterday during the practice sessions and came away pretty impressed with his physical game. You see players who just kind of make it look effortless physically, and those are the players they always catch your eye. Right?
Yep.
It's almost like no matter what, when you see someone, and we know what it takes typically to throw a bowling ball, and obviously it should take as minimal effort as possible, allowing gravity to take care of your swing, etc. And we all can't just do it like that. We just can't for whatever reason. But you see, especially players at this age, which is always what gets me. I get a chance to watch the Elite Youth Tour monthly in the Chicagoland area, and I see a lot of these players who are competing this week on that tour. Junior gold, I see, etc. And your eyes instantly go to these players who, at 12 years old, 11 years old.
It's shocking.
Yeah, you got 450 rev rates, and they don't look, just a snap of the wrist.
Yeah, they don't even look like they're unbalanced. They're not throwing. They're just letting it all happen. And it's so smooth.
So update on Hersrud. He did get the first strike in the 10th frame. Make it the second too, and that is just a thing of beauty what he's doing. He's going to be in the 260s. Again, he will join us on 17 and 18 momentarily. Here we are joined by Marissa Mose on 19 and 20, along with Tyler Reeves. Zach Andreessen, Vicky Andrews, also on 19 and 20. Alyssa Cash over on 21 and 22, along with Keaton Bieri. Timber Stewart. Here's Jackson Bieri, who we don't want to assume, but perhaps there is some relation between he and Keaton. It's a pretty cool name. I don't know if I've ever met a person named Timber. I like that. It's kind of dope.
It is. I like it.
Here's Zach. I definitely was what looked to be, I shouldn't say definitely, but I'm 99.9% it was pitch black.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
And you saw where that one hooked down lane too. And
yep, pitch black.
unfortunate miscue there for Vicky early, but opportunity here to come back and make this spare. We've seen players have some miscues with balls in the channel, but it hasn't affected their games, which I think has been very impressive to watch overall, especially on a very demanding condition. If you're just joining us, my name is Emil Williams Jr. Jacob Bedard has been in the booth the last 3 games, and he will finish out this round with us. Jacob, a proud representative of Roto Grip, great local player here in the area, has some PBA experience. We've been talking about, obviously, this lane condition, its attributes, why it's difficult, what makes it difficult. And now we're starting to see some players make it a little less difficult, if you will. Not easy by any stretch. That's not the word to use on this.
No.
They're not easy. Some players, you know, you dare to say are now making it look, again, easy, but that's not the stretch either. They're making them look a little bit less difficult, and I think, obviously, it's a testament to their own bowling IQ, acumen, and a kind of understanding of what the lanes are asking of them, which is hard as a player. And, you know, I used to bowl competitively a lot, bowl collegiately. I finally got back into league bowling within the last 2 years after like a 4-year break. The one thing I get a chance to do is obviously watch the great youth players, great professionals, great amateurs, and the understanding of, you know, watching players just kind of take what the lane is giving them cannot be understated. And on a very tough condition like this, you know, I think that's what we're seeing now. It's like, okay, this is what I have to work with. All right, let's figure out what. Wow, first 8-pin of the day.
Yeah.
That stopped me in my tracks because I just dislike 8-pins with a passion. Hashtag team no 8-pin. But to wrap up that point, you know, here's what I have to work with. Here's, you know, I know my equipment, which obviously is a very big deal, right? Very important to know what you have, what it's going to do. And I think now we're seeing, you know, Dawson, for example, Lucas. We talked about Joss in that regard. Kara Maxim had a very good game. Ethan Caruso. Starting to see players kind of hone in on what the lanes have given them at this point.
So looking at the patterns, I mean, you already know going in, if the pattern's posted, what more than likely where you're going to play and where you're going to need to be, and you can't try to create something that's not there. You know, you're already going to be fighting it because it's so tough. But if it shows you where it's at, which this is 33 foot, you're going to have to play closer to the gutter, especially to start. And, you know, that's going to give you your best opportunity to score. And knowing your game and knowing your equipment and what balls to switch to once it does transition will give you the best benefit. But you have to always play the lane what it gives you. It's tough to create something that's not there. Then you got to be too perfect, and we're human. We're not perfect.
Right.
I need to eat my own words on that. I'm a perfectionist, and it hurts me so much.
That was a very nice move and spare by Vicky Andrews. First look at Lucas Herzrud after coming off games of 257, and I didn't get his final, but something in the 260s. You get a look at where he's playing and how he's playing them a little bit. Here on 17 and 18. This is game 5 of 5. And nearing completion of the first qualifying block. We'll take a break after this. Grab lunch, and then the long pattern, 5 games on that will begin again at 2 p.m. Central Time here in Waterloo, Iowa, Cadillac Lanes. Also on this pair, Alan Stauffer. Oh, send it, Alan. Oh, my.
Mailman delivered.
Oh. That was like, I mean, I call basketball too. That, to me, that was the equivalent of the bank is open.
Yes.
You didn't call glass, but the bank is open right there.
He's throwing a promotion, it looked like Allen is, and that's a super smooth cover. That'll blend it out, similar to urethane. No longer in the line, but one of my favorite covers.
It's Trey Henriksmeyer.
Good shot there, too.
I tell you, the players that I saw, again, we were just talking about that spot, like if you go down to the rangefinder on 10 down lane. Now Trey was able to get it back from like 3, 2 somehow. I'm gonna guess that his rev rate has a little something to do with that.
Yeah.
I could not do that if I had tried. but so again, knowing what you have, knowing your skills and how you can get it to work and achieve the right ball motion. And it's cool seeing this unfold, right? Kind of right before your eyes. You see the light bulb sometime go off,
right,
when you watch a youth player, and you know, some adults for that matter, but specifically youth players. Tough spare here for Rhett Ryman. That's one where you think that you might go ahead and convert that one based on that. Like, you just tried to get it to the left of the head pin. That was a strange hit. There's Savannah Portillo.
Same spare here.
Yeah. Gets all the count, essentially. I feel like that should just be a split.
It pretty much
right?
is.
I mean, at this point, I know the head pin's up, but let's just mark that as a circle so we don't feel
You hit
as
the
bad.
head pin on the left side, you're not going to get the 8. And if you hit the pocket, you're not going to get the 8. So.
Hello, Megan, watching from Sauk Rapids, Minnesota. Marissa's mom. I got you, Megan. Don't worry. We'll get you back to Marissa here in just a second. She's got a 2.45 up at the moment as she is looking to spare and remain clean on. Here's Allen. Can that one push? It will not. And you see what happens again in that early miss left. You just hope to leave something makeable.
Stay within yourself and make your spares.
Watch Hersrud attempt the 10th, or his 10 pin, excuse me. I can't remember where I've seen Lucas. I'm guessing it's junior gold at this point. Whenever I feel like I've seen a player, I know I've seen them, and it wasn't on the EYT tour. It had to be junior gold. We'll see Trey for one more frame. And that's what we call a good 9-2. Red, just left side of your screen off camera did strike. This is Marissa. Nice shot.
Good shot. Good shot by Vicky.
Yeah, she's made a very nice adjustment. The one spare, the spare shot in the second frame, she's going to change the angles a little bit to go left to right.
I talked to her last night a little bit and kind of just to feel her out. She is so knowledgeable. She knows how to change her axis rotation and all sorts of stuff that most even adults don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's hard to do.
And she, I said, "Oh, do you have an Aperlon pad?" And she brings me this bag that's. It's like, did you like
got
own
every
the
grit.
manufacturer here?
She's got every grit.
Every grit.
Well, that's that knowledge base, right? I mean, the youth today, and I always talk about myself and thinking about, you know, my youth days were ended in the early. That's a tough spare, obviously.
Very tough.
Bad break. The ended in 2006, right? So mid 2000s, and there were, I would say, a good number of youth players who were extremely knowledgeable, right? But the vast majority were still learning the game, right? I was fortunate and kind of not fortunate too at the same time. I learned just about everything I knew when I got to, or I should say the additional things you need to know, surface, you know, carrying Avalon and those things once I got to college. Now, you know, the 12 and under players, right? Just as an example, those are the things that they're learning at 7,
Right.
at 8 years old.
I learned it in my 20s.
Right.
And I'm still learning because
Yeah.
it just keeps developing, and kids are so smart. Plus, we didn't have patterns like this growing up. I mean, where it's 33-foot one tournament and 30 or 50 the next. It was just like, oh, this is the pattern, and it usually wasn't a sport pattern. But now you have to be so precise with surfaces and your equipment, and so you do have to be knowledgeable if you want to expand your game.
Tyler Reeves working on the 10 pin from Tripoli, Iowa. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I've always called it Tripola, but I think it is actually said Tripoli.
Okay. He's a senior, bowling and playing video games. I'm on board with that.
A little Fortnite, maybe. Call of Duty.
Yeah, COD is still rocking and rolling.
It's like never ending.
No, that game's here to stay. Like they created a gym with that
Yeah.
one. No pun intended. As we watch a gym go down the lane.
That's right.
Looking to our left and right, and not seeing a few strings like we saw in Game 4. It's a good time to let's take a peek at what Bowl Metrics has to offer here regarding scores. So through 4 games, U18 boys, Lucas Herzrud, as we talked about, he's got 3 of his 4 games have been 230 or better. 237, 184, 257, 267. He's plus 145. Dawson Peterson is second at plus 116. His 3 games, he's got 3 games of 230 or better as well. 245, 199, 235, 237.
Oh, that's consistent.
Cooper Daniels at plus 20, and he's gone 220, 267 back-to-back. We had 2 267 games in Game 4 in U18 boys. Ethan Caruso is 4th at -5 with Griffin Jordan in 5th currently at -23. 10th right now, just to give you an idea, 10th at the moment is -106 in U18 boys. And in U18 girls, Kiera Maxim leading the way at -13. Brooke Salzman second at -58. Abby Starkey has moved into 3rd at -63. Rachel Moore is 4th at -86. Ainsley McConaughey is 5th at -129. 10th place currently in U18 girls is -169. That's Alyssa Cash. And then finally in U15 boys, Josh Weems leading the way. He is even through 4. Anthony Swanson is 2nd at -3. Tyler Paul is 3rd at -118. Russ Steen is 4th at -128. And Zane Shockensey 5th at -164. And 10th right now in U15 boys, -212. That is Micah Jensen. In Bowl Metrics, you'll see that link in the chat. All right, so Jacob, we're nearing completion of this event. Oh, I'm sorry, of this block. Any surprises, so to speak, or certainly I'm sure there are some things you probably expected, anticipated to see happen based on the pattern. Any surprises that you've seen so far?
Actually, I am surprised that it never really opened up. I thought the scores would start to climb by game 4 and 5. We did see a couple 260s, but it's still not there. It's still brutal. It's probably more mentally exhausting than it is physically, but yeah, I did not expect it to play this tough for all 5 games. I mean, I knew it was going to be tough, but to stay tough all 5, I was a little surprised.
Well, a really good spare conversions. Keaton doing work out there.
Looks like Lucas pulled out the old yellow Sunstorm.
I was wondering what that was.
Looks like it's been plugged a few hundred times, but
We got a good idea, a good view of what it is. Nice shot.
very good.
Nice game again by Keaton Beery. Had a 4-backer, 8 split spare, 8 split spare, 8 spare, another 8 split spare. And a strike on the field for 200 even.
Looks like Jaws' pair's really struggling. That pair looks really tough.
I imagine you've bowled in this center quite a few times in your life.
Yes. I grew up in Cedar Falls at a 16-lane center, and that's where I grew up. Worked there 13 years, and then I eventually bowled everywhere. But and then they closed that center. And I still consider Maple my home house, but now that Valley Park Lane in Cedar Falls is closed, I still bowl here quite a bit. Mostly tournaments. Don't bowl league here, but good shot by Allen there.
He just had to lean into it a little bit. Back to Marissa. So the old Sunstorm. Just trying not to give a few pins back, but obviously he's built up such a comfortable lead in position here. Here is Rhett Ryman.
Good shot there. Oh.
Frame next door and 6 frame here on 17 and 18. And now a couple of opens, really 3 now in the last 4 frames here for Lucas.
I don't see any strings this game like we did last game.
No, it's gave it a run there, did Zach. If you were to think about this in an 8-game block, right, this might be that point after not, almost off camera.
Little backdoor action.
But the backdoor strike there for Trey Hendrickson, that's 3 in a row for him. After not seeing a lot of transition or breakdown, I should say. I think we're seeing transition. The breakdown part is the thing. It might be getting tougher at this point. So if you were to think of this in an 8-game block, this would be the middle of the block.
Right.
And where you would see scores kind of maybe take that small dip like the roller coaster and work themselves back up as we get closer to game 7 and 8. But 5-game block.
So watching, obviously, we're not on screen, Lucas. I feel like he's got the right attitude, but I'd actually ball up a little bit more to a bigger ball, and so I could throw it a little bit farther and be more comfortable throwing it right without worrying about it going in the ditch. I feel like with that weaker ball, he has to be a little too precise, and if he gets a little right, it's probably going to end up with a gutter. So what I'm seeing in transition is that's what I would do, is I would probably ball up, maybe move in a little bit to keep the break points the same, right around the 3 to 5 down lane. Something smooth, gem with like a shorter pin, or even a pin below the fingers. Looks like Trey's rocking the Brooklyns right now, and the back door.
There's a good one.
Yeah.
Tyler trying to make this spare here. Over to Portillo and Allen. So finish up this game 5. Again, next block begins at 2 p.m. Central Time. Long pattern, 50 feet. A good spare here for Savannah. Well, Trey's had a few breaks, but hey, you got to take advantage of a 4-bagger.
That's right.
One crosses over 2. The good news is on at least this game so far, when players have crossed over, they've just left 6 pins.
That's a good job. Oh. I like that motion that he's got with that promotion. It's kind of funny.
Good shot there from Marissa. This one in the 10th is a good one. That's a much better pitch there from Tyler Reeves, and he gets some love on the 7 on the fill. Hold on, ball. All right. 4-pin is handled. Now back to Marissa. Talked about what Lucas was doing here. Struck in the 7th. Still keeping the Sunstorm. Through the nose again on the left lane. Spare made for Marissa. She shoots to 141. Reeves gets to 113. Jackson shoots 126. And we've got Zach Andreessen and Vicky Andrews still to complete their 10th frames on 19 and 20. Lucas from Glendon, Minnesota. See Zach here. Nice shot there, Zach. High flush. Jacob, do you use urethane? Is it in your bag?
Urethane doesn't really, I don't see it as well as some of the players. I have some urethane. I have a pitch black, fast pitch. I always have intentions to use it, but I never use it. I have a UC3. I've used that a couple times, but I just, it doesn't see my eye real good. So I always try to use it, and it always goes back in my bag too quickly, probably.
It's turned into a very tough pair here for Lucas.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, moving in a little bit with a bigger ball, I think Allen has the right idea. He's looks like he's crossing. Oh, good try. Crossing about the 10 board, getting it to about 3-4, and he's got a good look. And he's went with a bigger ball with that promotion, bigger core, stronger core. That's gonna be close.
A run.
Oh wow! I'm expecting that to hook.
Big shot there, Vicky. again, I'll say that again, watching the youth players figure things out, you know, during the game. And again, another opportunity here for Vicky to finish strong after not opening the game in the best. But she made some adjustment, made some moves on the lane, and showed just the type of talent that she has.
Shot. Yeah, I believe he might be even into 12. Yep, about 12 to about 5.
If you were to help someone build an arsenal, what would be like the couple of keys that you would give them to try to start that process?
So you always want your benchmark ball. That's the ball that you pull out all the time. That's the first ball you pull out of your bag. Like right now, we got the Idle Cosmos, which is super smooth. Hit hooks a good amount, not a ton, but it's going to be one of those controlling. You'd always probably throw it on almost anything. Then you're going to want something that's a bigger ball, and probably, depending on if you wanted to go with a 6-ball arsenal, you'd go an ASIM solid, ASIM pearl, your benchmark ball, maybe a solid, and then you tweak the drillings or whatever to match your game, whether it's if you're a higher tilt player or if you're a good shot there. Slower ball speed, whatever it is, you tweak everything with the drillings and the surfaces or whatnot. But I always like to see you have an ASIM solid, an ASIM pearl, a couple symmetrical solids and pearls, and then like a lower end, something on the hustle line. And if your ball speed's a little higher, maybe like a hyped line. But you can tweak so much stuff with the new equipment. It's unbelievable, like surface changes and drillings. And with all the knowledge we know now, with like the 2LS system for the two-handers, you can pretty much dial it down to exactly what you want. And then if you don't see it in practice, you can make that surface adjustment. So you could make 6 balls into a good 10-ball arsenal real quick. The thing is, you still got to execute. Whether you could have the perfect setup, execution on this stuff is key. And definitely you always have a spare ball.
Do you have plastic, or are you a throw it, flatten your hand out kind of guy?
I'm a plastic type of guy. Although lately my spare game, I should just not even throw anything.
You said that earlier.
It's usually my good part of my game, and it's been broken for like the last month. The 11thframe.com tournament, I missed 11 makeables and missed the cut by 2 pins.
Oh, okay.
And then the Ebonite just a few weeks ago, I missed 8 makeables and missed the cut by 6 pins. So my spare game is broken and it's showing, but I usually throw plastic. Right now I'm throwing a Thunder Flash, old urethane storm ball.
Okay.
But it hasn't gotten any better. So it's obviously not the ball's fault.
Well, you're going to work on that. You got it. We all go through those. They're unfortunate when they happen, but everyone kind of goes through that one spare slump.
Oh,
It's the most frustrating thing in the world.
Very frustrating, especially single pins.
Lucas made the ball change.
I'm back to the...
And that was the right one.
Yeah.
He knew it. He'll try to get all he can here in this 10th frame.
Good spare.
Oh, that was pretty nicely done there by Allen. Trey got to 208. Savannah had found some hold on that first shot in the 10th, by the way. I was like, wow, had that been there all day? And she was able to get to 181. Rhett Ryman shoots 172. And Lucas Hersrud, again, who was the leader heading into this game in U18 boys. That may change a little bit. He will give some pins back, but they built up a nice cushion. He was only one of 2 players to get to triple digits after 4 games.
like that hold was starting to create a little bit.
I'm thinking if this was 2 more games, maybe even 1 more game. But that's all relative, because we could say, well, yeah, you hit the tough pair, or you're starting to finally see the scores dip. Sure, you'd love 3 more games, or like, no, I think 5 was perfect. Like, I was just about to probably throw some pins away because my look was starting to get a little strange.
Yeah, like Lucas, he shot 260 last game, and he's probably like glad. This is only 5 games.
Yeah.
Where Allen's just the opposite. He's probably thinking, oh, I wish it was a couple more.
And just like that, folks, 5 games are in the books here. And speaking of finishing strong, it was Dawson Peterson who finished strong. Dawson shot 234 in game 5. Got him to plus 150. He's going to be the leader in U18 boys. It's like Ethan Caruso got to 221. He's going to be plus 16. Lucas Herzrud is going to give pins back as we thought, but again, he came into it at plus 145. He's going to be in a good spot, obviously, when we get to the long pattern. Cooper Daniels, unfortunately, shot 135, so kind of similar to what we just saw with Lucas and some of that momentum he gained with the 220, 267. He does lose pins, and he will finish this block at minus 45, which is still a solid block overall. Griffin Jordan at minus 12. Again, this is U18 boys. And U18 girls, before we head to break, Kira Maxim at minus 72. She's your leader there in U18 girls, followed by Brooke Salzman at minus 100, Rachel Moore at minus 106, Ainsley McConaughey at minus 172, and Victoria White fifth at minus 182 at the moment. Again, top 4 move on to the stepladder finals. That's tomorrow, though. We got a long way to go before that. And in U15 boys, we do have 1 pair that is finishing up, so not everyone is complete. And all those scores I mentioned, especially with the girls, Abby Starkey, who was 3rd coming into this game, she has yet to be done. So we'll have to calculate her score as well. Josh Weems got to minus 20. We don't have Anthony Swanson's score yet. Anthony was minus 3 after 4. But those 2 players were the tops in U15 boys. Again, all the scores will be updated momentarily after the conclusion of the game on what looks to be, what's that, 7 and 8?
Yeah, 7 and 8.
Yep. So that's going to do it for us here. I want to thank Jacob Bedard for joining me for 3 games, chatting up about Roto Grip, his experience, and what we saw on the lanes. I appreciate your time. And if you're here later and want to hop on for a game or 2, talk about the long pattern.
I should be here this afternoon.
Okay.
For a little bit anyway.
I appreciate you, and big thanks to all of our sponsors, of course, here this great event. The Midwest Youth Main Event. Guarantee Rate and Brandon Steen, Roto Grip, Experience Waterloo, as well as High Five Gear. And there's some really cool jerseys that some of the players and the staff are wearing as well. So shout out to all involved there. And the supporting sponsors also, those include Hampton Inn. I heard Ben Truegg was here. He's the GM over there.
Yep.
Great facility. I enjoyed my sleep last night. It was much needed. Of course, Cadillac Extreme here at Maple Lanes as well. All right, so that's going to do it for us here at the moment. Big thanks to everyone involved. Brandon, Angie, Mick here, Chelsea helping us out. Also, we will be back at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern here on Bowl Stream TV. Thanks for joining, and until then, we'll see you soon. Enjoy your lunch break, and we'll come back and we'll watch what's going to happen on a 50-foot lane condition.
Just the opposite.
Just the opposite of what we saw here. Until that time, enjoy lunch. This has been a presentation of the Midwest Youth Main Event. You watched it live and only on Bowl Stream TV.